Now we will have a panel discussion. I can imagine we're all inspired and have ideas and questions. Let's save that energy and get into a panel discussion. So I would like to invite all our speakers back on stage. I mean the ones on AI, obviously. Laurens, I don't know, do you still have time? Yeah? Good. So for the technical guys, is it possible to get everybody in the shot? Is it good for you like this? Okay, great. So for this AI afternoon panel discussion, we invited Bàrbara, and I'm very happy that she joined us. I will give the floor to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And I have questions too, so sometimes I will jump in, okay?
Thank you, Michelle. Good evening, everybody. My name is Bàrbara, and I have been invited to host this panel. And not because I'm an expert related with fisheries, actually I'm a lawyer, but I'm quite into AI and technology. So that would be my role here today. So thank you very much to all the panelists. I think we have like 30 minutes, more or less, to do that.
Yes.
Let's say 30 minutes. I'm going to go really, and I wish we all go really to the point, straight to the point. Questions are questions, answers are answers. And I have my phone to check everybody, no more than 2 minutes, okay? Okay, so first question. Let's go to the point. What do you see? I have heard a lot of improvement, optimization, data, but what do you really see as the biggest opportunity for AI to improve catch welfare right now? So today, the biggest opportunity that we are having here or that we discover through all the discussions that we have today. Lawrence, I think you have to go in like 10 minutes, something like that. So, Sonia, would you like to begin? 2 minutes, huh?
Yeah, 2 minutes. And I'm not going to be so long. I don't know. I mean, there are many different approaches. I think you can probably use the AI and machine learning because, I mean, from identifying the animals to identifying the behavioral profiles of the animals. I mean, on all the different talks that we've heard today, I mean, there was basically ideas, no,
yeah,
that could be also, applied to these new technologies and yeah. And also, I think another important thing that we're talking is about the amount of data that we are collecting with AI, and that can be used for other things like conservation, for climate change, and this happens as well with aquaculture. Aquaculture gathers lots of data on temperature and things like that, and sensors that are being used, but then the data is not used as the maximum. And AI can help with that post-analysis and post-processing of the data that I think is because they are always understaffed, they do have a lot of other things to do. And I think for certification schemes, I think that's a very important thing as well, because certification schemes can use this data, or even the policymakers can use the government use this data to actually validate that they are doing things properly, things like that.
Thank you very much. Tom?
Yeah, just I would second the big data thing. We've got actually a lot of data at the moment that is being wasted, and actually if we were to use AI to interpret that, as Lauren said, kind of present you a snapshot, don't look at 24 hours, here's 10 minutes or here's 10 facts, then it's much more likely to be used. And that's really the short term, I think, wins.
Yeah, I think definitely the data part is a huge opportunity, but maybe at the other end of the scale is, I think AI gives us the ability to do things, for like the machines that my company is building, like do things on an individual fish basis. So to develop the ability to process like a 1-pound snapper from a going from a 10-pound sablefish to a 1-pound snapper is like something that if we had to use like a mechanistic approach would take a huge amount of time and effort and may not be worth it or like economically viable, but AI gives us the ability to do that change very quickly and do it across like a wide number of species. So to kind of like leverage all of the insights from each one to expand our capacity much more fast.
Okay, thank you very much. This side of the stage, would you like to answer?
Okay, I think maybe I would say that we don't know yet. It's just a little bit too early, at least if we talk about generative AI, which is what all the hype is about, creating new stuff.
Mainstream today.
We have barely scratched the surface. It's a general technology. It can be used in every industry. So the way we use it, for example, to train new people. I can say, build this machine. If you have questions, ask ChatGPT. And if you don't get the answers, you can come to me. We can search through our databases to find which machine has this and this component. So it's just touching everything, but exactly for the catch, the technology we use, we use the older, the vision, which is not generative, it does not create things, but it's really helping us. If I wonder about, can I look at this, for example, to know this about the fish? Will this tell me how long, how well treated the fish was? And I can have a discussion and we can learn more and more, and that's what's happening a lot faster right now.
Okay. It's curious that the only data scientist is the one who says, well, we don't know yet. Lorenz, if you don't want to answer.
Second that, so we all spoke about vision, which is a slightly outdated part of AI. So hopefully in 2 years we stand there and all talk about something else. That would be exciting, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because I'm curious for an outsider, having seen the presentations of people that work with fisheries. Did you already get things going in your mind, like, ooh, I would pick that one and work on that?
Well, they all sounded very interesting. So I learned a lot. Like I said, I just knew something about goldfish. Now I know a lot about all types of fish. It does seem very vision focused. So it seems like there is a huge opportunity to expand sort of that broader view into multiple different technologies and automate it. Yeah, I mean, the automation that we saw both in your presentation, I think, would be the biggest change.
Maybe automate robotics to reduce handling could be one as well.
Because now and obviously we're talking about catch welfare, but I think talking about the business case and that drives adoption.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to look at how you can reduce manual labor there as well.
Yes, I think so too. For both the animals and the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will allow intervention from the public if you want.
Yeah.
With this 2-minute rule, because I know you have a lot of questions.
Is there anybody that has an idea on, okay, this is what I would use AI for?
ChatGPT.
I have a question, but it's not
What's the question?
We have drinks, we have the dinner. I think the lady there.
I only have a question. I have an idea.
It's okay. 2-minute rule, remember.
Yes, I would like to know how much your machine costs, the Shinkei machine, and if there is a chance to adapt it in larger scale for small vessels, traditional vessels, for example, Indonesia, for example, Maldives, Azores, so on, using it to kill skipjack, for example, or other tuna species. That was my questions.
Where's the micro you have here?
Yeah, that's a great question. Currently, the machines are on vessels in like the maybe 15-meter range, so not gigantic boats. I don't think I know exactly the number for the cost, but I would say to adopt it on like the skipjack fishery or something, maybe not this exact machine, but like some version of it does seem feasible.
And what do you say about the cost, more or less, in euros or dollars?
I'd have to get back to you on that number.
Maybe it's good if you meet after.
You need, you need to speak with the commercial department, right?
Yes.
I have here a lot of information about cameras and vision and all the data we have regarding vision, but my second question would be that I feel like a people outside of this world that we are missing something. So do you think, is there like any other system or another artifact in fisheries where IA can have some space outside cameras and vision?
If people want to answer that question in the room.
If you have more ideas, of course, we will hear it.
Also,
2 minutes rule. But I'm interested.
That's an answer to this question.
Yeah. Daniel, what do you think? Yeah, I know. And Tom will answer later.
Yeah, could that be considered generative? I'm not sure, but we are really into reinforcement learning for robots, so that the robots can plan the path for the fish themselves.
Yeah. So physical move, I mean.
Yeah. So, yeah, you would have an image, of course, and then the robot will maybe find out the smartest way to move a fish. That's something else. But we are still, if you ask Optimar, you get a factory answer.
Tom.
Yeah, I'll go back to the whole big data thing, which isn't vision. It's all the data that we already have on the boats, and it's pulling it into one point and then just analyze it, finding the correlations. Why did I catch such a good catch last Thursday? Here were the conditions above the water, here were the conditions below the water. Why? And then if you build that for my boat, and then you take your boat and your boat and then we can start build big data and really start to understand. And if the conditions aren't right today, the fleet doesn't go to sea because it's just going to waste time and fuel. So that, yes, so, absolutely. And yeah. That's low-hanging fruit, pretty much.
So databases and training algorithms or machines to make decisions at some point.
And just looking for correlations to humans. You've got to bear in mind that the skippers on these boats are tired, they're responsible for the welfare of the crew, the safety and everything. So they can't be figuring this out on the hoof. They need help. The information's there or the data's there, it's getting the information in front of the guys. That's really where we can have a big impact in short term.
Thank you. Do we have, two brave people want to add some ideas?
Yeah, one idea could be, I'm working very often in the Global South, and I've visited many landing sites, where a small-scale fishery or mid-sized fishery fishing vessels are landing. And in these countries, there is always a lack of personnel to really control what kind of fish is landed, which species, what amount, and so on. And AI based camera surveillance monitoring systems could help here. Of course, it's a matter of costs. Therefore, your question is correct. What is the cost? You could mobile phones, but that is something.
So, are you talking about the form of fully documented fisheries, but for small-scale fisheries? Yes. Very true, very relevant, not necessarily about welfare, but it reminded me of, could it be used for verification of stunners, for example,
we have
in the supply chain?
Another question.
Sorry, if I can just come in quickly on that. That's actually happening in Montenegro at this moment in time, which is a very small country down in the Adriatic Sea. So, yeah, that's happening.
Hi, just a quick question. For example, in the presentation from Sonia, we saw that we were using sonars, or before we were using sonars, that could be combined, for example, with computer vision, what you are speaking right now, be helpful to understand, for example, when there is low visibility, and to, for example, collect data from sonar to recognize species. Like recreational fishermen already are able to recognize fish species from the sonar profile, so maybe that can be used to recognize bycatch.
Yeah, that's being used for multi-beam sonars, but just the ones that we were using were just one beam. But the multi-beam sonars are used, for example, in oil rigs to identify marine mammals. So species that you don't want around the area. And now they are being introduced into aquaculture, but the problem is that they're very expensive. So it's a question of costs. But the cameras that these guys from Submerge, the one I show at the end, they want to incorporate a sonar system because the visibility sometimes is very low, and that can help to also identify animals. I think one of the opportunities we have is the individual identification. And we know that when we handle the animals is when you get them more stress. So I avoid this handling, just looking at the operational welfare indicators by looking at the, by training the algorithms to identify the different operational welfare indicators in water, so we don't have to handle the animals, and that's the main aim. And that can be used for fisheries as well. So all this sampling that they've been doing about looking at the different animals, different welfare indicators, see how well they are or not, that can be also done directly underwater. So you and also identifying species that are not good for the catch, or they're too small, or different species that you don't want, then they can open. I think there is a net as well that opens, that they already have a camera and they open when the species that is not the one that you want. So there's a lot of things going on at the moment already with that.
So I know, Sietse, you've been working with sonars quite a bit. Is there any opportunities that you see in combination with sonar and AI?
Yeah, I work as a process innovator on acoustic data and other fisheries data. And I think we're focusing here on the moment the fish is being caught. But I tend to focus on the period before you actually catch the fish, because there is a huge welfare opportunity to actually avoid certain catches. And that's where acoustics comes in. And I know that some countries in Europe are very far at this, with this topic, especially Norway. But AI, of course, gives a huge opportunity there. But that brings me to another point. It's very costly. It requires a huge investment. It requires a lot of time, scientific study. It really is expensive. What does this mean to the costs of seafood in the end? I mean, how can we still have affordable seafood, or is the price of seafood for the common person go up because of all these fantastic innovations? What does it mean on the short term and the long term? AI is expensive. The development is expensive. And if you talk about African countries or developing countries, what does that mean for them buying seafood?
Yep.
General.
Just wanted to add that the Catch ID project had 2 finalists, and ours is for the larger vessels, and there is another company, the name escapes me right now, but they have this very small rig that you put 1 and 1 fish through, and it registers to your phone.
Yeah. But that's only the machine. Of course, the whole data network to analyze is maybe also another cost.
The infrastructure.
The infrastructure, the digital infrastructure.
Could be, yeah. In Norway, they have their system, and this system talks with that system. So
Yeah.
I wrote here lessons to be learned, and actually I saw that in 2 of the presentations. I think Sonia, one of them was yours, and Lawrence, you talk about lessons to be learned with the technology in this field. But of course, there is an ugly side of everything, and there's a price to pay in order to use the technology and the AI. So which are the risks that we need to face today? And I think, Sonia, you make like a slide. You pointed to some of them, like data quality issues and lack of transparency. That's mine. System failures. So maybe, do you have like ideas or initiatives? How can we take care of this risk in the industry using technology/AI in these processes?
Well, it's coming back to what you were saying, I guess, about how the so
what do we need to balance?
Yeah.
Not only the cost, of course.
The cost, that's the main issue now. Yeah. I think that's one of the main issues. All the technology is quite costly, so it needs an investment. sometimes they are not, prepared for this investment, and then there is the risk of having a site, all the farmers that cannot afford, and then you have only the big companies that actually can afford, and then you just don't have the other ones able to follow this trend, and then everything just gets monopolized by some big companies, and small farmers, or they can, or small fishermen, they cannot really. So the government, in this sense, if they want actually to improve that and use these new technologies, needs to probably give them some money, in different,
Do we need to redistribute the resources that we have?
Yeah, just
between the players.
it has to be some public investment as well for them to be able to afford these technologies. In a way, I think that's probably one of the main issues, and we have to be very careful with that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawrence?
Yeah, so just to add to that, so to your point, I think the price only goes up if the cost goes up, right? And I liked your example of the claws being clipped, so instead of cutting the tendons through, you actually keep them stronger and you deliver more high quality. So I think that would be my advice as well, is try and seek out the use cases where you deliver both a superior product or more produce to counteract that cost. And that comes to your point. It seems like we look a lot at, indeed, when the fish is being caught, rather than going out to seeing the exact place where to catch it. So with AI, we always say garbage in, garbage out. There's a lot of data. Maybe there should be even more data. Maybe there should be cheaper sensors to make sure that you know the exact currents, the exact temperature levels, etc. I don't know what goes into it. But something that there is definitely room for innovation based on what I've heard today, I would say.
Yeah, go for the win-win. I have a question here in the room.
Sure. Now the question.
Okay, thank you very much. So first of all, my compliments to all of you. And I'm not an expert on AI, but I would like to ask you something related. So I would like to know if you are taking into account the environmental impact of using AI. Because you're doing something great for fish welfare or related to fish welfare, but at the same time, I think it's useful to consider the side effect.
Would you like that one of them answer the question?
Very good question. I would otherwise ask it.
Yeah, I think just to answer that quickly, coming back to, it's not a lot of the generative AI that we're talking about. So all of these huge energy-eating AI algorithms, they're not being used. So a lot of this, what you've seen today, will have been done on the vessel. So it's just a relatively small machine running on, and I think one of the examples even said we could only do this stunning if we add an additional engine, and that's not acceptable. So a lot of the examples seem to be with very small requirements in terms of energy consumption. But it's a good thing to keep in mind.
It's more the generating pictures and videos for Instagram that's the energy demanding.
Exactly. This is also important, though.
Very important.
Daniel, we would like to know your perspective as data scientist about that. Hey.
Our machines mostly replace seasonal workers, so maybe they've come flying in, and then we. It's not a joke. There's a lot of people that come flying in, and in some cases it goes with the cost as well. It doesn't always make sense. If they just come and work there for 2 months, then they can't buy a robot. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So you consider actually the impact that your projects and your technology is doing in the environment?
I'm considering it right now, at least.
Okay. Sonia, would you like to answer?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, because I think there's many different uses of artificial intelligence in aquaculture or in fisheries. So each of them will have different impacts as well in terms of, energy consumption and things like that, because some of them need the validation and they need a lot of people working on machine learning algorithms and things like that. Yeah. Then they need a lot of validation, and then you need a lot of effort and a lot of data to do it. And that gives a lot of energy consumption of that. But then other ones are more kind of manual small machines, as they were saying. So it's a lot. It's a big range of different products that we can use here.
Okay.
So more questions from the audience. Hogne.
Thank you. It's not really a question, it's more a statement. My name is Hogne Blei. I'm from Ervik Marine Research, and we're owned by Ervik Group, which is a big one in the long lining industry. And we also have snow crab catch with pots. But anyway, we look at it a bit differently, and I completely agree with Lawrence here, because we are using AI, or trying to use AI, and also using with the VASP, the multi-beam systems, to look into a more efficient catch, and then you save a hell of a lot of diesel oil. And that is a huge benefit, both financially, but also, of course, for the environment. So I agree with you, Lawrence.
Thank you. Somebody wants to respond to that on stage?
Tom?
Somebody from the industry? No? Okay.
We all agree.
Point taken. Okay. Paul, where were you there?
Yes, thank you very much. No, I would like to come back also to some of the risks that were highlighted a bit earlier, notably mainly on generative models, but the question around, let's say, European sovereignty in terms of data storage, but also maybe the models that are being used, and the overall question around kind of like on the concentration of the knowledge within one company, and under what was maybe also underlined a bit earlier is when one only company provides this to fishers, if they decide to raise the price, then it has an impact on the rest of the supply chain. So maybe also a call of like making sure that the fishers or the operators are the one owning both the data, the models, and everything that goes around, even like, because there could be impacts and a lack of knowledge if we all rely maybe a bit too much on the information given by the models.
Yeah, good point. Any response on stage? Any response from in the audience? So.
No, I just wanted to highlight the importance of scientific research institutes and the open
knowledge,
open scientific community, or how do you call it? Open source technology, because then you can develop really robust AI models and implement them for commercial applications, but it remains fully transparent and can be copied, can be commercialized in the end. So we definitely need those scientific communities, which we luckily have plenty of. Just an extra.
Yeah, actually, my next question, thanks for the intro, was how do we ensure transparency? Because we talk a lot about data and database and data processing and everything, and in this direction that open source has made a huge advance in technology and in the scientific community when we are open or able to share what we are learning. So the question would be, how do we ensure transparency? Or how can we be able, especially if we are a company, to share this knowledge with other people that may not have the money, but maybe the scientifics, for example, if you dare to answer
Somebody
the
in the
question.
audience has an idea. Cara, go first, yeah?
Yeah, go. Thank you. Cara from Fisheries Innovation and Sustainability again. Thank you. Tom mentioned our smart trawl technology, which is a FIS project. Everything we do, as I'd said, was pre-competitive and we want it to be open source, but we took a different approach. We have actually patented a part of smart trawl in 4 different administrations, Canada, North America, Europe and UK, because we want to make sure that through licensing conditions, it's affordable for the fishing industry. So to answer your previous question, we thought that was a way to make sure that nobody would take a great idea and run away with it and make it really clever and very, very expensive. We want it to stay as something that's for the fishing industry, by the fishing industry, and affordable to them. So it seemed a bit weird patenting it. It felt very big business, but we thought that was a good way forward.
That's very relevant.
I like that.
Thank you, Cara.
From the slaughterhouse perspective, I just want to comment on that. So I'm a bit in two minds about it. I love open source stuff in general. But what we saw there is, and he's going to tell you the price later, and it's going to be higher than you think. I also think the companies that are first and that are willing to take this risk and invest in it should also be allowed to reap some of those benefits. So I think it's harsh to have them invest first, and once it works, make it open source and deliver it to everyone. I think that stops adoption a little bit as well, at least we saw in the slaughterhouse industry.
You don't need to open source everything, but some things could be nice, but thanks for your point. I got it. Tom, thank you.
Just two kind of points there. We've already had a conflict in comments within the room about the data belongs to the fishermen, so they choose. And then we're also going, no, but we need to get all the data out there to help society. So we straight away, we've got a conflict there. To the commercial point, so how startups kind of work is you have an idea, you go out and you try and get money because generally you haven't got any. You've spent every penny you had to try and get your idea into something you can convince somebody to invest in. And you've got an investor in your business who owns a large proportion of that business. They want a return on their money. So actually, that's the model that we have in kind of society now, that you've got to make money. Yeah. So it can't be free, but it can be reasonable. And back to Kara's point about the pre-competitive kind of cooperation, that can allow for both, but I would second the point about if the fisherman's collected it, it's his data, it's his choice. We need to motivate him by giving him proper solutions that he'll go and share it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to apply myself the 2 minutes rule because open source doesn't mean necessarily free, and it could be a lovely discussion in the drinks. So thanks for pointing that. Do we have any questions? Should I go further?
Yeah, we're getting close to the end. So I don't know how many questions you still had.
A lot.
A lot.
I'm a lawyer.
More than enough? Okay. Definitely, Hans.
Hi.
We have been talking here quite a lot about stunning and killing of fish, and we still are in the phase of what do we know, what do we not know. There's uncertainty. And to let you know, we are busy launching a group of experts because we think that a group of experts should give industry and NGOs information on what we know and what we do not know. I think that's very important because, as you said about your method, it is the IJmuiden method. That's mixed data. Just very difficult to draw firm conclusions. So for industry, it's difficult to work with. I fully understand that. So that's why we think that this working group, we are busy to setting that up, is urgently needed. So I hope this helps.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the thoughts.
Yeah. Any more AI-related questions, urgent questions in the room?
No.
Otherwise, maybe we could end with, if you think really utopian in the future, money is no issue.
Another
transparency universe. Is not. What is your wildest idea that you can think of using AI in the utopian ideal world?
In 5 years, if you can dream.
Oh, maybe 10. Let's make it crazy.
You could say, right, there's no more fishermen. There's robots going out and hand picking stuff, and who knows? But it's certainly not in the short term. But I think fishing as an activity is not very efficient. And I'll pick a number, and people will disagree with me, but I'll pick a number and I'll say it's about 30% efficient. So we're 70% inefficient. If we can start to eat into that, then we're making progress. And I think that's where AI and other initiatives like cooperation, sharing, etc., that can all help do that. And that doesn't necessarily mean we have to invent lots of things. It just means we have to do things better.
Be smart and cooperative. Yeah, it's a bold statement, the 30%, but Yeah, I think I get what you mean. Yeah, there's a lot of things.
Waiman,
Yeah, I think
if you can choose.
I think at least on the subject of welfare, right now there's like a huge trade-off between like cost or effort and welfare, and I think sort of like in a utopia, there's not that huge cost, right? Like it's closer to zero, and that would benefit everyone.
Especially when it's more established, and of course innovation and development always cost a lot of money, but once it's developed, it doesn't maybe have to be so expensive, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think AI can sometimes also help to reduce costs in the ideal world. Any other wild ideas?
Sonia, if you can choose an innovation, or if you can choose a dream in 10 years.
Well, yeah, from my interest, my own interest.
Of course.
Yeah, okay, I'm interested in animal behavior, so basically I would like to be able to see what's happening in the nets and be able to select the animals that we actually need, but discard the other ones in good conditions, be able to score them and have them, you know, just there and be able to know what was happening with them without having to intervene or anything like that, but yeah.
I know somebody that does something with cameras in nets.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe an idea
yeah,
for the future.
that would be really nice.
Thank you. Daniel, if you'd like to add some idea.
I'll just answer the transparency question because I was brewing on that. We have a lot of data. We have hundreds and thousands of fish images of herring and salmon and whitefish and New Zealand species, and you know what. But we're not hoarding it just necessarily to keep it for ourselves. We can borrow it out or lend it out if we are already doing that with some research projects. They want to look at improving machine learning methods. Okay, here's the data, fine. We just don't want direct competitors.
Yeah, sure.
And and we're very cautious about Asia sending the data there.
So you wish there was no competitors and everybody can access to your data?
I mean, it's a lot of work getting the camera out at sea and then labeling all the images. So
yeah,
there is some investment.
Okay.
We are very early, so that's good.
Thanks for sharing. Lawrence?
Yeah, finally maybe to turn your utopian into dystopian and on your main note, we're talking about animal welfare, but I mean, fishermen go back thousands and thousands of years, right? So I'm going to go out on a limb and say these people love being out at sea. Yeah. So hopefully there's not robots and we have fishermen that actually can be even more efficient at their job. So
with the help of technology.
AI, but not only AI.
Okay.
That would be my message.
So you wish that AI help the fishermen, but not the extinction of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Do you have any wish here, or we just right on time? We have 3 minutes left.
Merry Christmas.
No, he's serious.
Not a wish, but in 10 years, if you can choose something that became real.
Yeah, I was hoping for this question. Fair pricing. So I hope that AI would actually give us the opportunity to make sustainable fishing also be the most profitable one, because then we don't have to motivate people on welfare or sustainability issues or cleaning up your mess. So can somebody get behind their laptops and start coding or something?
Yeah, so also comes down to the verification in the supply chain question, because that's what you need to get fair pricing. Okay, is that a good discussion for over a drink?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.